1,200 children evacuated from holiday camps in Greece after wildfire. Uzbekistan and Georgia sign action plan on cooperation. Twitter staff in Africa say they have been ghosted and haven't received their promised severance pay. Welcome to the World News on VOP TV. I am Kayla Abraham. The workers that Twitter laid off in Ghana claim they've been ghosted by Elon Musk's social media company and haven't received their promised severance pay. After Musk took control of the company in October 2022, he began a series of sweeping layoffs affecting thousands of workers. It was reported early November that Twitter laid off almost all of its staff in Ghana, its only African location, just days after its physical office finally opened following a year of remote working. Staff were initially told that they were being laid off without information on their exit packet or next steps per the outlet. A new report details how in late May, the laid-off workers were eventually offered 3 months of severance pay, the cost of repatriating foreign staff, and legal expenses incurred during negotiations with Twitter. But communications with the company have since stopped and they're still waiting for severance pay. And now U.S. climate envoy John Kerry disclosed to China's top diplomat Wang Yi that China and the United States could use climate cooperation to redefine their troubled diplomatic relationship and lead the way in tackling global warming. Kerry told Wang on Tuesday at Beijing's Great Hall of the People that talks could provide a fresh start for the world's two biggest greenhouse gas emitters, which have been mired in dispute over Taiwan and trade. Wang described Kerry as an old friend, saying they have worked together to solve a series of problems between both sides. Kerry also referred to their previous work together, including on the Iran nuclear talks. Kerry met with his counterpart Xie Zhenhua for nearly 12 hours at the Beijing hotel on Monday, and State Department officials declined to comment on the discussions, while Wang praised Kerry and Xie for their hard work throughout the talks. Meanwhile, the first meeting of South Korea and the U.S. in their joint nuclear consultative group began in Seoul amid efforts to curb North Korea's nuclear threat on Tuesday. This is the first gathering of officials from Seoul and Washington to discuss the temporary deployment of more nuclear-capable assets to South Korea, following an agreement between South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden at an April summit to create the Nuclear Consultative Group. The latest development came just days after the North Korea test-fired a Hwasong-18 solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. President Yoon also called the gathering of senior security and defense officials an important starting point for building strong and effective South Korea-U.S. extended deterrence. You will recall that North Korea on Wednesday fired a long-range ballistic missile into waters between the Korean Peninsula and Japan, claiming to have set a new record flight time of 74 minutes and 51 seconds, the longest for a North Korean missile. The missile came down in what South Korea calls the East Sea and Tokyo calls the Sea of Japan. And now Taiwan's defense minister stated on Tuesday that the island is looking to buy national advanced surface-to-air missile systems from the United States to upgrade its air defense capabilities, having seen how well they work in Ukraine. China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, has stepped up military and political pressure over the past 3 years to try to force the democratically governed island to accept Beijing rule. NASAMS have been provided by the United States for use in Ukraine, with U.S. officials saying they have had a 100% success rate in intercepting Russian missiles. The system, developed and built by Raytheon Technologies and Norway's Kongsberg Gruppen, is a short to medium-range ground-based air defense system that protects against drone, missile, and aircraft attack, which both Canada and Lithuania have also bought or are buying for Ukraine. Asked on the sidelines of Parliament about Taiwan buying NASAMS, Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng stated that there was a proposal to get them. Chiu stated that, however, Taiwan has not received any official information from the U.S. that they will sell NASAMS to Taipei. The U.S., Taiwan's main foreign source of weapons, formally makes notifications to the island about arms Washington is willing to sail. Similarly, Uzbekistan's Prime Minister Abdullah Aripov and Georgia's Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili signed an action plan for joint activities aimed at development of bilateral cooperation between the countries for the years 2023 and 2024. Following the meeting, which took place in Tbilisi, the ministers also signed an agreement establishing a business council by the trade and industrial chambers of the countries. In a one-on-one discussion, the prime ministers focused on Georgia's transit potential and the significance of developing the Middle Corridor, also known as Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, an essential transport route on the international stage. Garibashvili also congratulated Shavkat Mirziyoyev on his re-election as president of Uzbekistan on behalf of Georgia's government. Following the bilateral meeting, the delegations held extensive talks covering various aspects of economic cooperation between the two countries. The prime ministers emphasized the stable trade partnerships and identified potential for future growth in this area. They also discussed investment opportunities in different sectors. Now, Typhoon Talim has reached Vietnam on Tuesday after passing through China less forcefully than feared, with no deaths reported in either country despite nearly 260,000 people relocating from the storm heat. Talim first made landfall in southern China late on Monday evening, battering the coast of Guangdong province with maximum winds of 136.8 kilometers per hour. By Tuesday, it had weakened to a tropical storm as it slowly made its way across the Vietnamese island of Bac Long Vy before moving towards the neighboring Chinese region of Guangxi. Authorities revoked an evacuation order in the northern port city of Haiphong a day after 30,000 people were relocated from there and the province of Quang Ninh. But Vietnam's second biggest airport in Hanoi closed on Tuesday, disrupting hundreds of flights. Authorities warned that heavy rains, flooding and landslide could still pose a risk in northern provinces after the storm passed. Meanwhile, Greek authorities have evacuated 1,200 children from holiday camps threatened by wildfires burning near the seaside resort of Lutkraki on Monday. Authorities stated the villagers were ordered to leave their homes and hundreds of children were evacuated from a summer camp as two separate wildfires fanned by strong winds damaged houses to the southeast and west of Athens on Monday. A Greek fire service official stated that the blaze that broke out in the village of Kouvaras, about 27 kilometers from the Greek capital, spread fast amid erratic winds. The official added that about 200 firemen, with the help of around 20 soldiers, 68 engines, and 16 aircraft, were trying to control the flames. A Greek television showed several houses and cars gutted by the blaze and thick white smoke billowing from burning vegetation. Meanwhile, France is faced with the risk of drought as heat waves sweep over Europe. As high temperatures and wildfires threaten the continent, France's weather authority Météo France regularly warns citizens of dangers of heat waves, particularly in its southern regions. Lavender fields in the southern town of Lunel have all dried up. The World Meteorological Organization stated on Monday that the new record high temperatures could be recorded as intense heat waves grip the southern U.S., Mediterranean, North Africa, Middle East, and some countries in Asia. French Ecological Transition Minister Christophe Béchu stated that in February that the country was in a state of alert over the risk of summer droughts. Now, Hawaii's Big Island is under a tropical storm warning as Hawaii's Big Island is under a tropical storm warning as tropical storm Calvin is forecast to pass over or just south of the island, threatening to bring dangerous coastal surf, heavy rain, and gusty winds to the area. Calvin is expected to remain a weak tropical storm as it swiftly presses westward and passes by the state. As of late Monday night, the storm was about 517 miles east of Hilo with maximum sustained winds of 445 meters per hour. The heavy rainfall poses the most significant threat, prompting flood watches for the islands of Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Kalauea, and the Big Island from Tuesday evening through Wednesday afternoon. The storm is also expected to generate swells and rapid surf along east-facing shorelines on Tuesday and into Wednesday. The agency warned elevated surf could become life-threatening in some areas. Now, Ukrainian mine and explosive clearance experts from the cities of Dnipro and Zaporizhia have arrived in Ukraine's Izium city to restore the war-affected region. The dedicated brigades have taken up the mantle of ensuring the safety and facilitating the restoration of the recaptured territories. Also, the bumpy roads leading to Izium bear witness to the difficult challenges endured by the war-torn region. Finally, an Australian sailor and his dog were rescued by a Mexican tuna trawler after spending 3 months adrift in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean on Monday. Now 54-year-old Timothy Lindsay Shaddock and his canine companion Bella embarked on their journey from the coastal city of La Paz in Mexico in April with the goal of reaching French Polynesia, a distance of approximately 6,000 kilometers. However, their plans took a drastic turn when their catamaran, named Aloha Toa, was severely damaged by rough seas, rendering its electronics useless. The amateur sailor was rescued from the ocean by the Mexican fishing boat after enduring 3 months of isolation. The man and dog survived the ordeal by drinking rainwater and eating raw fish caught with their fishing gear. And that is a wrap on the world news on VOP TV. I am Kayla Abraham, a VOP business show coming up next.